We are joined today by Aces General Manager Natalie Williams, Alabama Head Coach Christy Curry, as well as the Woman of the Hour, Brittany Davis, whom the Aces selected in the third round of the 2023 WNBA draft. Before we get to questions, let me just start with you, Natalie, if you wouldn't mind. Tell everybody what you saw in Brittany during her workouts and tape and why she's a member of the Las Vegas Aces.
Yeah, hi everyone. Just really excited to have Brittany with us during our training camp, and I'm excited for her to have an opportunity to make our roster. As you all know, we're, a pretty amazing group here with the Aces, with the 2022 champions, and our goal is to, do it all over again and run it back. But we had a great opportunity, especially myself and some of the assistant coaches, to watch Brittany throughout the college season, and just very impressed with everything that she did, not only on the offensive side of the court, shooting. I think she was fourth in the SEC in scoring, but also rebounding, and an excellent defender, which is very hard to do in the SEC. So just really proud of her and the way she was able to lead her team and be productive and help them throughout the season and in the NCAA tournament.
Coach Curry, let me pull you in here real quick before we get to questions and just ask you, for those of us who haven't had a chance to see Brittany play, how would you describe her as a player and what she did for you all in Alabama during her career?
Well, I mean, she's one of the hardest workers I've ever coached. I know everyone talks about hard work, but I think at the end of the day, I mean, she is relentless beyond and above practice. I mean, there weren't very many days that, she wasn't in the gym early and constantly texting Coach Kelly and I to get in the gym. So it's you become a great player, not from just the practices and from the positions we put you in, but it's your effort and your energy. And Brittany epitomizes that. I think she's a 3-level scorer. I mean, obviously she's an elite scorer, we feel like, and is multidimensional as far as getting to the rim. Her mid-range, which I think always separates a little bit. And, maybe with us didn't shoot that as much as probably I wish that she would have. I mean, she's probably going to smile with me saying that, but, dynamic from 3 and in transition. So, and really selfless. I mean, she's a consummate teammate as well. So it was always about the front of her chest instead of the back. I think she's a perfect fit. Especially with the situation with so many returnees and the depth and the talent level already with that program. I think she's a learner, she's a listener, she's a giver, not a taker. And I think she's going to come in with an open mind and tremendous work ethic, ready to roll up her sleeves and go to work like she always has.
Well, Las Vegas media know that Becky Hammond's mantra is she won't yell at you for shooting. She's going to yell at you for not shooting.
Well,
so that won't be a problem. You feel free to hoist away, Brittany. Let's go ahead and open things up to questions. Members of the media, particularly Las Vegas media, when I call on you, if you would introduce yourself and let us know what outlet you are with so that Brittany can start getting to know who is who. So let's get started with Paloma Villicana.
Hi, Brittany. I'm Paloma. We're the official broadcast station of the Aces. So excited to have you here in Vegas and excited for your family to get here as well. But want to start off by asking you, just this past season, we saw women's basketball at an all-time level. How do you think you grew as a player just playing against LSU and South Carolina and all the talent you face this season?
I would say, obviously the SEC is supposed to be the best conference in the whole women's basketball. So just being able to be a part of Alabama and play for my teammates and being able to be the player that I can be each and every day.
Yeah, I want to also ask you about your daughter and being a mother and just the maturity that you bring to the Aces team.
Brielle is my world, and I would say that she has matured me in a lot of ways and made me a better player, a better mom, a better person.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Andy?
Hey, Brittany, Andy Amashta, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Just wanted to know what your kind of pre-draft process was like. Who are the teams you're kind of talking to? And did you know you're going to be drafted, entering the draft?
Yeah, I was talking to the Sparks. Am I still here?
Yeah,
yeah.
we got you, Brittany.
Okay. I was talking to a few teams, and I think that it was a long process, and I was just trusting in God, knowing that He will lead me and take me where I needed to be.
100%. And then I know you started your career at the junior college level, winning an NJCAA championship, I think. What was the step like from that level to the SEC, and kind of how did that initial, I guess, challenge shape you for your collegiate basketball career?
I would say that junior college was very good, a good conference, obviously, and I would say that it was a change for me when I got to Alabama, but I found my way, and Coach was there to help me along the way.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ashley?
Hi, Brittany. Ashley was the Crimson White. Congratulations on getting drafted. At SEC Media Days, you talked about coming back to really focus on getting to the WNBA. Now that you have made it and have the opportunity to make a roster, what was the emotions like when you heard your name called by the Aces on Monday?
I was very excited, that my name was called, and I worked hard for this moment, and I feel that I deserved it. So I'm ready to get to work.
Mason?
Hey, Brittany, Mason Smith with Bremen Central. Obviously, you talked about pursuing the NBA. When it came to the conversations you had with Coach Curry, throughout this season, of course, seasons prior, what were those conversations like as you were, not only focused on the current season at hand, but just preparing, for the NBA, the WNBA, excuse me, as well?
Well, Coach always told me to take it one day at a time, and we would get to where we wanted to be. So I think that's what we did, and she believed in me, and I believed in myself, and that's how we got to this point.
Coach, would you like to maybe speak to that a little bit as well, as to what your process is with coaching a player during a senior season or a final season, but also preparing them for that next step?
You're muted, Coach.
Yep, you're still muted, Coach.
Hey, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Brittany's situation was a little different because she missed the COVID year. We actually had written a waiver to try to get this season back, because a lot of the players that are in the draft have had 5, and you're looking at 100+ games, and Britt's only in the 80s, from having played for 4 seasons. So that waiver was denied twice by the NCAA. Pregnancy is not a reason based off the COVID rule. So, at that point, but I'll be honest, before the season, she sat down with Kelly and I, and we came up with, there are certain numbers. You look at Jasmine Walker going 7th overall. Also, Jordan Lewis was on that track, even though she ended up transferring to Baylor, had been with us for 5 years. So the last 3 seasons, to have 3 young women that have been in our program for the majority of the time, we feel like there's certain numbers, and we sit down with them beginning on their senior season. And Brittany went to work this past summer, as she always has, and we had some goals that we wanted to hit. If you look at the certain percentages, everything from the assist to turnover ratio to the 3-point percentage to the free throw percentage to the numbers. We use a lot of analytics that if you hit those numbers, you have an opportunity to get drafted, and Brittany went to work on that. So I think you have to credit her and Kelly spent a lot of time on the numbers and meetings and times and film development. I mean, she was in his office every single day. So but it was Brittany's energy and effort. So we did. I mean, there was a plan in place, and she did hit those numbers. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to get drafted, but there's a lot of data behind it.
Perfect. Maxwell? No relation?
Yeah. Maxwell Donaldson, Tuscaloosa News. This is for Coach and Britt. I think, Coach, you just referenced you've had 3 people in the last 3 years be drafted with Alabama ties. What does it mean for Alabama? The advancement of Alabama. We talked a lot about, the historic markers that you guys hit last season. What does it mean for the program? And Brittany, what does it mean for you to continue this starting legacy?
Britt, you're gonna make me go first, aren't you, like usual? So, well, Maxwell, I just think it shows the trajectory of the program. I mean, the improvement of the program. I mean, obviously great players make programs, and, we've just increased our ability with recruiting. I think the move to Coleman several years ago, just so many steps along the way. It's been a program in the 90s that we're extremely proud. It's been 17 years before, since we had a draft, and now we've had 3. So it just says a lot about the program and the trajectory and our staff and everyone around the organization. I mean, we're on the up and up. I mean, we're a program on the rise, and we're excited about that. But it's a credit and tribute to Brittany and, the legacy that she leaves, is she made this a lot better, and she cares so much about not just what she's done on the floor, but the recruiting process and how our players continue to recruit other great players in the process here.
Yeah, I always say what Coach said about leaving a legacy. She always told us to leave the place better than we found it. And I think that's something that I did, Jazz did, and the people before me. And it's about Alabama and what Alabama is trying to do.
Willie?
Hi, Brittany. Willie Ramirez for the Sporting Tribune. I have 2 questions, one for Britt and one for our general manager, Natalie Williams. Britt, I apologize if you've already answered this. I got on here a little late, but the year off to have a baby, to have your daughter, and since then, what has being a mother sort of helped you, and how have you learned what have you learned that you've been able to apply to your basketball career and just in life that's just benefited, that you've been able to grow from? What have you taken from that overall that you can credit your basketball career to?
I would say that life has bumps and bruises, and no matter what happens, you got to keep going and keep pushing to be the best person you can be.
And Nat, for you, just I know with the Aces and the roster that you built over the over the past year or so, the character is a very big thing. The due diligence in terms of vetting and what you saw in Britt. I know your quote after the draft that you were really happy that she was still available. And I know how much character is important to you and Nikki and this roster. Can you just expound on that and what you saw in Britt on and off the court?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, that's obviously, we look for talent. We look for someone who can compete in our training camp, but also, I mean, our roster, we're all about character. We're all about professionalism. And we're always looking at finding people who will fit in well with our amazing group. So, I mean, that was something I look at all year. And across the country, there's a lot of kids that we would, I wouldn't even look at. But Brittany is definitely one who has high character, and we know that she's got the work ethic and she will come in and compete. And we're really excited to have her.
Thank you, ladies.
All right, don't have a name, but WVUA 23.
Hey, I'm Kenneth Kelly from WVUA 23, and I have a question for Brittany. Well, first and foremost, congratulations on accomplishing this amazing accomplishment that you have with being drafted. And second, I know you've been a very leading contributor to Alabama's success over the past few seasons, but could you tell me about what you have learned over your college career and that you hope to carry with you into the WNBA?
Thank you. And I would say Coach Christie always taught us to be on time, being 5 minutes before. So I would say I would take that, and having time management as well.
All right, there's still a couple of hands up, but I think it's folks I've already called on. So seeing hands go down. Mason or Paloma, do you guys have one more, or?
Yeah, I have a question for Coach Curry, please. For the Las Vegas fan base who are not familiar with Brittany Davis, what kind of person is she? What kind of player is she? Talk a little bit about her character off the basketball court.
Well, it's absolutely special, to have, I'm not sure, I had a little research being done in my office. Has there ever been a Division I player that's had a baby? I know there are WNBA players, but I know that this is really a unique situation. But the past 2 seasons, to see her realize that, the game doesn't define her. There's something more important now. She's playing and living and being, and she'll leave here with 2 degrees on top of being a first team all SECer, and having a baby girl, it's bigger than basketball for her, right? But basketball is obviously an avenue for her to create a better world for baby Brielle with 2 degrees. So it's her humbleness. She's incredibly coachable. She has a tremendous work ethic. She is one of the sweetest, quietest. So she's just, just a really, really extraordinary young woman. And to see her path and her journey, and we've loved her through it, and she's embraced the challenge of it. So it's an extremely unique path, obviously. So we're really proud of her, and you'll love the person, because I think it's the person that makes the player special, because she embraces any role, any expectation, and hits it head on every day with a great work ethic and selflessness.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Brittany, now if you'll just let folks know, it wasn't asked, but you have been to Las Vegas before, correct?
I have.
And when was that?
It was in high school when we played the AU tournament.
Undefeated?
We were undefeated.
All right, so we're going to keep that going?
Keeping it going.
All right, let's do it. Thank you so much, Brittany, Coach Natalie, for joining us today. We appreciate you and appreciate everybody for joining us.